there was a lot more fun. The wild stories. Saying old school is always better, but it was a wild sport.
We've all been asked training stories and all this other stuff. I want to go back even further. Like you started training in high school, right?
Yes.
I know Jim did, and you did as well. What's one of the stupidest training sessions you ever did in high school that you can think back on? That's either it's funnier than hell, or stupid, or just intense. But one of them that you think back on, like, oh my God, that's funnier than hell.
So what is it's almost like a glute ham raise, but we used to do it where a partner would hold your legs down and you'd go forward and come back. Yeah, my friend in high school, every session would do that, and he would pinch the back of my hamstring so viciously.
What do you mean pinch?
Like the skin, like a monkey bite. Like, you know, kids, you grab each other.
Oh, so you're going down and then he would just pinch you.
And almost it's like me not making fun of roads. It always happened. And he's going to walk into it, every time. And I'm like, don't. And I'd have welts on the back of my legs. Now, not a great training story, but that's the first thing that came to mind. That anytime I did that stupid
you know what, that's probably, in some context over the years, that's probably become some muscle activation.
He was priming my right hamstring. So, yeah, I'll think of something better while these guys. I gave him some time.
What do you got?
Mine is just the dumb stuff of thinking the bench press was important. Like nothing like any specific workout that was crazy, but every day got a bench, and it's like just no squat, no nothing, just stupidity. And then I had someone kind of take me under their wing and okay.
All right, so when I was a sophomore in high school, there was 7 of us sophomores that got moved up to varsity. And so, of course, it's a big to-do because there's 7 young kids, and the juniors and seniors didn't like us. And we had a squat test in which, I don't know why they chose this, but you had to squat your body weight 1.5 times your body weight for as many reps as you could. So I was, oh my God, I was 160 pounds. So I 240, is that right?
Yep.
1.5. And I did 44 reps because it was Tom Rathman's number, which is fucking retarded. And right after that, we had a run conditioning. And so first of all, not only that changed the coach's outlook. They're like, holy cow, how's this 160-pound kid squat 245 pounds or whatever it was for 44 reps? They actually changed their training. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is. But I remember we had, and that's back in the day running. We didn't just run 1000s. You had to run like 30. And I remember I was crawling half the time. I couldn't even fucking walk. I couldn't move anything. And I just remember being like, I shouldn't have done this. Like it was like I was so fucking pumped up that I kicked so much ass, and then I just realized I just got my ass kicked. And the second one was, it was probably my senior year. We were doing 2-a-days or 3-a-days. That's what we did. And remember, we had to run our conditioning afterwards. You guys remember the old 300-yard shuttle test?
25 yards and back.
25. We did 30. So 30. Okay, so so you did 30 yards down and back 10 times. If you've ever done that, after just one, your legs are smoked. Well, we had to finish in a certain amount of time, and then if you didn't, everyone had to go again. Well, no one finished in time. We did 15 of those.
Oh, my Lord.
15. And this was during 3-a-days. And I remember being like, I remember everyone weighed in like 20 pounds lighter that day. You know, after practice, and I just remember like, what the fuck are we doing? Like,
those are. I think I know those as down and backs, right?
Yeah, but so you down and back, but you do down and back 10 times. Yeah, and the amount of muscle burn and stuff was crazy. So at the end, no one was even close to making times. I mean, people were just puking their guts out. And I remember being like, God, I still got practice tonight.
That's back in the day when it was, and that's going to build mental toughness, and that's going to, well, there's something to that, but it's like,
we would always play our first game really well, and then as the season went on, everyone was just too tired. Now, my senior year, I think we started changing things towards the end, but we never. That's why even today at London, cut out all conditioning during the season. Fuck it. You're right.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
Practice good.
Yeah, I remember that. I couldn't escape it because it was there for football. And that sucked because it's the whole field.
And then wrestling.
Then fucking wrestling, it came back.
Yeah.
Right? And then I remember during football, you couldn't go to it was like it was a trough.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
dude, we got one water break for football.
That's all we got.
A session.
And it was never
rusty.
then.
It was all, that's why I got all my minerals in.
Yeah, minerals, man. Fucking, Who needs element if you can get your fucking sodium and your minerals through a rusty
And they
pipe?
fucking yelled at you if you took too long at the fucking hole. Like, come on, we gotta go, we gotta go.
You had to get there first, too, because some fat fucker in front of you is going to be sucking on it the whole time and not leave.
They'd give you 5 minutes, and at 30 seconds, they'd be like, all right, we got to get back to it.
Yeah, you're like, yeah. It helped us see if I can stimulate more ideas. Some of the things that I had was my first weight set I got was just a weight set, like the plastic stupid shit that we all got.
Did you have
the cement weights?
The sand weight set. And so the bench press I made was sitting it on milk crates. And I remember in the front yard, I did like all the weights. Whatever it was, 200 pounds. And then I tried to do a backflip and missed.
I'm thinking I'm going to stick to this lifting thing.
So I'm like, but I was doing like ground presses, which were floor presses. Like I invented that shit, right? Because there's no bench.
Jesse Kellum my ass.
Yeah, exactly. Then we used to do this shit for biceps where we'd sit on the floor and put the bench, like the dumbbell bench, not the press bench, to support the arms, and then a low cable, and fucking curl. And then we'd curl for a half hour. So like we would work up and then work down. Then the whole thing was just to keep going because the burn was good.
Yeah.
Do you remember the strength coach for the Cincinnati Bengals? He was a hit guy.
Yeah.
If I heard his name, I would know it. And he was a big fucking bench presser.
Ken. It'll come to me in a minute.
It's Kim Wood.
Yes.
I remember reading an old thing. He's like, he didn't know any better when he was training. So he's like, you worked out at a weight. Does that make sense? So you just, like, what do you work out at? When he did 100 pounds, he's like, well, I got to do 100 reps. And when he worked up to 125, he did how many reps?
125.
125. And then he got up to 200. He's like, I got to do 200 reps. That's what he thought was, and that's why he was such a good bench presser. But it's like, God, he's like, 500's got to be fucking tough. A long day.
I don't know if I'm going to make it that far.
There's a lot of stupid shit. I did a lot of stupid
along those
shit.
lines, I remember Kevin Schmidtke when you did one of those workouts.
By the way, Kevin Schmidtke played with us. He was one of the few guys, and I'm not making this up, who couldn't train. He would get so fucking big, so fast that you'd like, listen, just do a couple sets, you'd be fine. Yeah. Really? He was so hyper responsive. And I remember one year he got too big. Like, he got comically large. Like, and then coach was like, dude, you got to lose 20 pounds. Like, you can't.
How did it hurt him?
He just was so
Probably
stiff
too
and too tight. And he's a super fast kid. And but I remember, like, he was the like, what a fucking asshole. Yeah. Like, there was a kid that plays at University of Cincinnati right now as their starting quarterback, and he was player of the year in basketball and in football. It's like, save some pussy for the rest of us. Like, I mean, that's insane. Yeah, what a dick.
Well, it's kind of a lot of.
What were you?
But it's just that we had now.
Sorry, buddy.
No, it's all good. This isn't a great story, anyway. But it's along the lines of the bicep thing. We had done whatever Jim told us to do, because he
like 21s.
Yeah, but we were doing dips, but we weren't doing dips. We were using the machine that you could sit in.
Oh my God, is that gay?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was one of those deals where
that's very Vincent.
We did it for like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and it was just. In the next couple days was just like, oh my God. Then you try to recreate that. And you can't. You have some of those days that you just feel really good, and you get that crazy pump and the burn.
First time I ever took ephedrine, I couldn't. I'm like, dude, I'm going to work out forever.
That was
maxed out on squat twice.
Yeah.
I think I can. How come I can't? I'm not joking. How come I squatted, and then I did like 500 for 8, and then I did leg press. I'm like, fuck. I think I'm better I can do 500 for 10.
Couldn't urinate, but.
That was a fucked up thing, right? Especially when you start putting your briefs in.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
You can do it.
You got your briefs on. You took ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin.
Yeah,
like, I got to piss so bad. And if you can wiggle your dick out from the fucking pubes through the suit, you stand there all broken hearted. You can't fucking go. That was a nightmare, man. Because you didn't know. Like, is this a false alarm or is this for real?
I remember going to meets and, like, after you warm up a little bit, you're like, you start the briefs out and like, dude, you gotta
You got to make
once
a decision.
These are on,
That's
they're on.
it.
Like, I'm not taking these fuckers off. And it's like, no, I'm good.
People missed all that. I know it's nostalgic, but there was a lot more fun because I'm still around it. Like I'll still go to some competitions with a friend and I'll watch, and it's just the fun isn't there. The wild stories, the I guess saying old school is always better, but it was a wild sport. It was a wild sport, and now
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's just, and it's still great, but it's just you don't have the stories like who's doing what in the back room, and
there was big personalities.
Yeah.
Well, I think that too, but you also had to have a crew.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So now they don't have that. So if you get 6 people together for 4 or 5 months, then you get past that getting to know each other phase.
Get stories.
And then you really start fucking with each other. That's when the crazy shit happens, because you're purposely trying to make somebody mad, but they know you're doing that. But then when you can still break them, it's fucking
I would do that to Josh all the time.
You didn't have to work very hard to
No,
break
I
him.
didn't. Because so when we were benching, he was better at some of the training lifts than I was. Like floor press or whatever they were. And when he would choose what we were doing, I'm like, oh, Josh is better at me than this. So he'd walk in the gym. I'd be like, Josh, I'm not going to talk any trash to you today. I'm not going to say a word to you. I promise. I don't want to get in your head. This is a lift that you're probably better than me at, and I want you to have a good day because you're doing a meet too. And so I'm not going to say a word to you so I would do this while we were getting ready. Right? And then when it would start, I didn't always keep my mouth shut, but sometimes I just not talk to him at all the rest of the day.
Did he get mad because you didn't?
No, I would get in his head. He was easy to get in his head. It was so fun to mess with him.
He tormented him.
Oh, it was bad. It was bullying.
It was
straight bullying. It was straight bullying
before bullying was a thing.
Yeah, it was straight bullying.
Even I felt uncomfortable. Like,
it was straight bullying.
Nobody wanted to be around him because it was unbearable.
Yeah.
It was just, he'd be on him from the second he walked in the door. He couldn't do anything right, and he would be on him, and you just be, You know when all the energy goes out of the room? And you're just like,
settle down, Beavis, because if you were in a mood, too.
Outside of showing up, did he do anything right? I mean, is there some...
Yeah. He was a pretty good lifter. He was a great handler. He was a great teammate. He lifted.
He and Rhodes
he was willing to put in, he got out what he put in. So, like, if he had worked harder, he'd have been better type thing. But he did what he was willing to do.